Yeah, we're about I don't know, 10 days, almost 2 weeks, not quite from Remembrance Day. Yeah, you can put the Christmas lights up now. Yeah, it's kind of an okay day. It's not too cold to put them up. You can put the Christmas lights up now. Yeah, do you want reconfigure our office Christmas music though? Would you? Yeah. If I hear Brenda Lee and Rocking Around the Christmas Tree one more time, I'm going to lose my lunch. Yeah. All right. Have a good day. Hey, welcome to Season 4, Episode 25 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars, supported by Verge Insurance, Ace Alignment, powered by WeeStreem, Canada's premier streaming service. And we are housed, as per usual, in this lovely downtown St. Catharines bistro, Pour House, Fiddler's Pour House. And it's actually not a bad day for November the 22nd. It's a little damp, but it's nice and warm. You can come on down and join us for some lunch. We have some great specials here at Fiddler's. Just come on in and ask them for it. And what we've done today is something we do once in a while, just to make sure that you feel comfortable with being a part of the program, and so that we try to drag Niagara into this as much as humanly possible, is we have absolutely scheduled no one for today. We have nobody that is scheduled to come on at any particular time, so you don't have to worry about whether you're going to be interrupting a conversation, or whether you're going to be coming on in the middle of a guest, or whether it's not appropriate for you to join us. It's appropriate at any time, regardless of what's happening, to come in and join the program, and we'll fill you in on exactly how to do that. And it's pretty simple when we're back in about 30 seconds. So it's your show, it's our show, it's Niagara's show. It always is Niagara's show. But there's nothing scheduled today to get in the way of anything at all that you feel that we should be a part of when it comes to your life and things that are happening here in Niagara. So we'll be back in 30 seconds, and we'll get into that a little bit more. Thanks. And here we are. As I mentioned, Season 4, Episode 25, Niagara 411 Live. That almost rhymed. With Sterry. Kevin Jack, ladies and gentlemen, on the right-hand side of your screen. Executive producer of this program, co-founder of WeeStreem, with Brendan Scram, Canada's premier streaming service. Kevin, how you be today? You sound like you're a little bit under the weather. You feeling all right?
I am. I've caught a bug of whatever it is that's going around. So
okay.
A little bit of the sniffles, but nothing worse. I know some people have been bedridden for days. There's definitely a bug going through Niagara, and I guess I caught the tail end of it.
Have you noticed in browsing through various social media platforms that we are back into the COVID and vaccine conspiracy theory conversations online? Have you noticed that that's happening?
Yeah, I don't think you can post anything online anymore without some idiot calling Trudeau a Trudope, or talking about the some sort of scam.
Yeah, and you know what? I get accused, and we can sometimes be accused of taking sides and being somewhat of a Trudeau supporter or a this supporter. And I'm not saying necessarily because of this show, because we don't get really political on this show. We get situational, but we don't really get political. But out there in the world, when I'm hanging out with people, my goodness, if you have an opinion, it's well, you must be a raging liberal then. Oh, you must be one of those conservatives. Oh, you're an NDPer, are you? No. I just kind of have one man's opinion on a particular subject. And you brought up the word idiot. And you know what? There are a lot of people that are not idiots out there that have some very strange views on things. And you go, you're a smart educated person. Where did that come from? But it's, I guess, the nature of the beast that we live in.
Now, at least sometimes I just feel like challenging people and say, okay, what exactly about True Dope don't you like?
Yeah, yeah. And
Could
of course,
you just extrapolate on that a little bit, please?
and
want to go, well, just everything.
Yeah.
Well, no, be specific. Is there a piece of policy? Is there?
He's to blame for everything that I don't like in my life. Okay, now I get it.
Yep, okay.
Everything bad that happens to me is because of the Prime Minister of this country, no matter who it is. It's his fault or her fault.
And the scamdemic, that's the word I was looking for before, scamdemic.
Yeah.
Although I did see some interesting research coming out of Iceland, but I couldn't realize whether it was real news or fake news. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, welcome to our version of social media communications. And what we do is talk about things that are relevant to or important to Niagara. And that's why we're here. And let me repeat this. You will notice at the bottom of your screen, I do believe we're supposed to notice at the bottom of our screen, maybe my screen doesn't have it on right now, the link, there it is. There it is. Thank you, Kevin. Just popped up. Click the Zoom link in the post. We have absolutely no scheduled guests today, as I mentioned earlier. So all you have to do is give us a shout over that link. You're watching this on Niagara 411 Live, or you just wherever, and click on that link, and you'll pop into what we call our green room, our Zoom room, green room. Kevin will make sure, green room, and Kevin will make sure that you got your camera and video all working, and then we'll just chat about something. You can bring it up at any time throughout this program. And we did this purposely because oftentimes we'll get a comment from somebody saying, you know, you guys have these scheduled guests, and which we do. And often they take up a large portion of the program, which they do. However, just so that you know, this is a forum that we want to be an open forum, that anytime you feel you want to use it. So if you don't use it today, that's fine, that's okay. No pressure, but if you feel that you would like to come and have a conversation with us about anything that's going on, your business, a charitable event, it doesn't matter. Somebody stole your lawnmower, I don't care, whatever it is. You just come on in and talk to us and have a conversation. You can even, let me open it up this far. We have been doing this now for a long time. This is season 4, which means we've been doing this for almost 5 years now. And it doesn't seem that long, Kevin. It just has flown by. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you want to tell us something we should be doing or shouldn't be doing? You don't like the hats? I don't care. Which I kind of like. Thank you to Kevin Feulled at Beau Chapeau in Niagara on the Lake. But anyway, you get my point. It's open for whatever kind of opinion or concept or whatever you want to bring up today. Kevin, there's something that happened in St. Catharines. And again, here's the other thing before I move on to this. I don't want you to think that because we are located here at Fiddler's Poorhouse, 149 St. Paul Street in downtown St. Catharines, and that is our locale where we shoot this thing from. I don't want you to think that you're shut out if you live in Fort Erie or Wainfleet or Port Colborne or Welland or wherever. This is an entire, Grimsby, I don't care. This is a Niagara program for Niagara, by Niagarans, and about Niagara, okay? So just let me make that clear. Excuse me.
Oh gosh, what happened there, Lee? The tumbler tumbled.
I lost my club soda. Just to prove that we are live. Okay. But we're going to start with a St. Catharines focused item, which led me off on that tangent of the fact that it doesn't have to be about St. Catharines. We are all about all of Niagara. But this one is about St. Catharines, and we find this a little bit hard to believe. This has been something that's been on the burner of things to happen in St. Catharines for quite some time, and that is the CNR Bridge on St. Paul Street. So this past week, it was announced that the bridge will be closed to all vehicular traffic. Okay, the bridge has a problem. It needs to be repaired. Safety issue, of course. Okay, we get that. The bridge is no longer able to safely handle combined traffic and snow load. As such, the bridge is closing before the start of winter weather, which I understand could be as early as Sunday this weekend. We might be expecting some snow. So the removal of the bridge itself, though, is expected to begin in the spring of next year. Now, here's what they say is going to be the detour route. If you're heading westbound from where we are right now on St. Paul Street, as a matter of fact, to Pelham Road to Louth Street to St. Paul West. Okay, you got that? So you'd be going from St. Paul Street West to Pelham Road to Louth Street. Louth Street to Pelham West. Now, eastbound, if you're coming from the other direction, St. Paul Street West to Louth Street to Pelham Road to St. Paul Street West. All businesses on St. Paul Street West will remain open and accessible during the closure. The bridge will remain open to, what does that say, Kevin, at the bottom of that post? Will remain open to...
pedestrians and cyclists.
Pedestrians and cyclists until it's removed.
So the real rub on this, Lee, of course,
here's the thing. Now, so far, there's not a whole lot to say, so why are we talking about this? How long is this bridge going to be closed, Kevin?
3 years.
What? Can we repeat that? This railroad bridge is going to be closed for
3 years.
Count them, ladies and gentlemen. 3 years.
Yeah, that one there, the old Dukes of Hazzard Bridge.
Okay. 3 years. First of all, the span is not that long. The gap that needs to be covered over the railroad is not that wide. 3 years. I'm a little bit without speech now, and you might think about that detour that we were talking about a few moments ago, and that's okay for somebody like me that lives in the north end of St. Catharines. No big deal, necessarily, except for somebody that lives where my close personal friend Kevin Jack does. We're talking about something a little bit different here. So, Kevin, let's switch over to you for just a second and talk about this in the fact that you live on the other side. If you talk about the other side.
I have an address on St. Paul Street West.
On St. Paul Street West, on the west side of 12 Mile Creek.
Yeah.
Yes. So you are affected by the closure of this bridge as a resident.
Very much so, and it began on Monday.
Of that area. Yeah. So it's closed. It's closed now.
So the closure is what it is. Right? The closure is what it is. We've been dealing with one-way traffic for some time, and I understood that they looked at it and said, okay, with the weight of the snow and then also the snow removal vehicles, the bridge can't sustain it, so we got to close it ahead of time. Okay.
Got that.
So they're going to begin to dismantle the bridge in the spring of 2024. Okay, I can deal with that. Replacement 2026. That I cannot fathom.
No.
That does not sit well with me. That to me seems like something where if I was in the boardroom and people came to me with that conclusion and said, here you are, Kevin, it's going to be replaced in 2026, I would tell them to turn around, go back into the boardroom.
And refigure this.
Because that's an unacceptable answer.
Now, okay, and this is something we were talking about a little bit off the air, but I want to go back and revisit this conversation because I'm not exactly sure which staff recommendation would be considered in this. Is this a regional conversation? Is this a regional council conversation? Or is this a St. Catharines City Council staff recommendation and conversation? I'm still not exactly sure where the jurisdiction of this comes from. Like, which staff is it? Because see, here's what happens whenever there's something to do like that, and we know, and the councilors say, yeah, okay, we know something has to be done. Staff has recommended we have to do something, and you got engineers and all, and they say, okay, go back and bring us a proposal. That's how it works. So staff does its thing, and they do their research, and they do their proposals, and they put the report together, and they send it to the councilors, and the councilors come out, and everybody talks about it. Then there's a debate, and then there's a conversation, and then there's a vote. And then we go forward. And sometimes the vote will say, go back and do it again because this isn't working for us. That's what we wanted them to do with this one because of the time frame, the 3 years. Okay, but that didn't happen. Which staff recommendation are we talking about here? Is it a city or is it a region? Do we know? Is it a city?
I think there's like three levels. I think the city's involved.
Okay.
I think the region's involved, and I also think CN is involved. Now, you know that there's a big master plan.
Yeah, but CN doesn't recommend to the council.
Well, I think everybody's involved.
Okay.
When it comes down to, I don't know ultimately who made the decision. Maybe it was some sort of joint committee. But all I know is 3 years is unacceptable. It really is. Now, if you think about, Lee,
it's not that big a bridge. How long does it take to build a bridge?
Think about some of the businesses that basically abut the bridge. You've got Break Wall that's over there. There's a couple of gastropubs that have opened up in the last couple of years. They're basically on the end of a dead end. When you come now, when you're driving on St. Paul and you come up to Louth, there's a big giant sign saying, road closed, business still open. Well, that Esso gas station that just opened on the west side of the bridge, how many people are driving down a dead end to get gas? Like, they may as well just close up shop for 3 years.
That's a long
3 years.
time.
And then what's also even stranger is I get the recommended detour routes, but nobody's going to follow them.
This is the other thing I wanted to talk about, is there are shortcuts that people are going to be taking other than going on those recommended detour routes that we were talking about from east and west, and they're through residential areas.
So I get it. I get the fact that you have signed detours because you want to direct traffic to roads that can handle that amount of traffic. But unfortunately, we're humans. We're going to do whatever we want to do. So what they want you to do, Lee, is if you're approaching from the west, is you would take a right here. That's right where the 4-pad is and the Tim Hortons.
Yes.
You'd go down Louth, all the way down left to Pelham, come all the way back up around Pelham, and hit St. Paul, and then go across.
Or we could do what?
What I've been doing, because I just looked and said, well, I live here, I know how to get around. So I immediately just took a left, went up to Ridley Road, all the way across Ridley, and then up Henrietta.
Right.
Now, the city, in their foresight, they did install some speed bumps along Ridley and Henrietta. And I'll tell you this, the speed bumps are not high enough. I barely have to slow down to get over them.
Well, then they're
irrelevant.
irrelevant.
Not really slowing traffic. And Henrietta, oh gosh, do I feel for the people that live there, because it's already choked with all the cars that are parking on the street. And now the increased volume of traffic, once people get used to this and realize that when you're coming from downtown over the bridge, you know what, take that first right at Zbart, go down Henrietta, jog up across Ridley, and then you're back in no time. It's the fastest way. And some of the comments, Lee, you see some of the comments here from people, and like, LOL, watch out Chetwood Street, heavy traffic on the way. So if you look at Chetwood, I mean, if you were to follow what they want you to do, as I mentioned, right, you could turn right at that intersection where Mr.
that's the
Sub
recommended
is,
route to cause the least amount of hassle.
And go all the way down here, and then all the way around. Right?
Yeah,
or the people that know the local roads, you could go down here.
Cut across.
Hang a left on Chetwood, which is right there. Cut all the way across Chetwood, which gets you over to Pelham, and then back up to St. Paul. So where do you think people are going to go?
Well, obviously, they're going to take the route that is the least onerous for them, and that means those residential streets.
So for 3 years, 3 years, residents on Chetwood, Ridley, and Henrietta have to deal with the amount of traffic that used to flow down St. Paul Street West, a major route.
Now, there are representatives in our political structure of that area that should be aware of these issues that are going to come up. Whether it is your regional councilor, whether it is, and again, I'm not sure where these recommendations have come from. Somebody can let us know by clicking in that link. You may be a politician in town. You may be Mayor Cisco. I don't care who you are. But it would be kind of nice to get a little bit of clarification as to how this decision was made and where it was actually voted on and how it came to be, to the fact that it was going to be 3 years. And it is a CN bridge, so on top of everything else, where are those invoices going to go? Where is the money? How much is it going to cost? This may be a matter of public record, but I haven't seen it. How much is it going to cost? And where's the money coming from? Is it region? Is it the City of St. Catharines? Is it CN? Is it a combination of the three levels? I don't know. So there are a couple of issues at play here. There is obviously the timing that we talked about, the 3 years. There is obviously the detour routes that we have already just outlined to you, and there is the cost and where it's coming from. But the main thing here, Kevin, is the time frame. The whole concept. I mean, you can build a lot of things that are very complex in less than 3 years. Honest to goodness, you can. So, I don't know how long the Burgoyne Bridge took. Like, well, maybe we shouldn't revisit the Burgoyne Bridge fiasco. That opens another whole can of wormits. But anyway, this just seems like one of those things where we're not really thinking clearly. And yet, there was a big public forum held on this that was very well attended, as I understand it. But somehow this proposal, as it stands right now, still went through. But Kevin, there were a lot of people that attended that public meeting.
It was very well attended, and the reports were that there was a huge gasp from the audience when they learned that the replacement timeline was 3 years. I think everything else, everybody's cool with. Okay, you got to replace a bridge.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're planning to replace the bridge, but now you've done the engineering studies, and it can't actually support the weight of the snow and the snow removal
vehicles.
We
get it. Okay.
Yep, check. In fact,
Absolutely.
That makes me super happy. It makes me happy that you're looking into that stuff and you're doing it for our safety. You can't replace a bridge in 3 years. That's just mismanagement
on somebody's part.
What else could I call it? I mean, you could sit here and say, "Oh, well, it's a CN thing." Okay, so that's mismanagement.
Yeah.
It's a regional thing. Okay, well, that's mismanagement. It's a city thing. Well, that's mismanagement.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah, irrespective of where the responsibility lies, and it may be a third, and a third. We don't know, but somehow it's off the charts, crazy.
I could only imagine the guy that owns the Esso station there.
Oh.
How many calls he's had into City Hall going, "What do you want me to do for 3 years? I've got a gas station at the end of a dead-end road?"
Yeah. And
talk about business going to zero.
The other closure, and I know they've done what they think is the best thing to do for whatever businesses are on either side, is the closure on Ontario Street in St. Catharines.
That just got underway, and the region put out a statement
that just got
today.
underway, and that's going to be closed for a long period of time, as well. What is it?
Here's the update from the region yesterday.
Yeah, this is one that would affect me more than Kevin, for example, because I live down in this area in the north end of St. Catharines. We're aware. That's okay. We're aware of the traffic buildup at the Ontario Street, Linwell Road, and Lakeport Road intersection. Our traffic signal team is working on a solution to improve the situation. We appreciate your patience while we work through this. Okay, but the plan was in place for quite some time. Should not the traffic buildup have been predetermined? Should this not have been what's going to happen? What are going to be the ramifications of closing this road for that period of time? And this also is going to be a rather long period of time, from Thursday, November 9th, 2023. So this is like last week, or a week and a half ago, to May the 5th. Now, it's not 3 years, grant you, it's not 3 years, but it's November, December, January, February, March. It's still 7 months. Okay? It's still 7 months in one of the busiest areas of our city. Okay, then. We're aware of the problems. We're trying to figure it out. Shouldn't you have figured it out before you close? There are all kinds of studies, and there are all kinds of projections, and people that do figuring on these kinds of things, traffic flow and whatnot, and, before something is planned. Oh, we're trying to figure it out now. Okay, well, we're a minute shy and a dollar short. As my dad used to say, you should have figured this out beforehand. Yes. and it is closed. As to go to Kevin's point about the railroad bridge, it's closed for a good reason. It's not the fact that it shouldn't be closed for the sewer reconstruction and everything that they have to do through that little valley area. It's got to be done. But there's some due diligence that has slipped through the cracks on some of these things. I can't wait. Can you wait, Kevin? I can't wait until they start twinning the St. Catharines Garden City Skyway. Wait till that debacle begins.
But at least I'm on board with that. That's got to be done, and that looks to be a big project.
Well, all these things have to be done, but I can't wait for that goat show to begin.
As you know, Lee, I'm pretty connected to municipal politics, and a lot of stuff I give them a pass on because it's not easy. But this 3-year replacement of a major artery in and around St. Catharines, I mean, how many years did we hear about the conversion of two-way traffic downtown and how important it was to connect that wine route? Remember the wine route, how important that was to make sure that we had one route that people could travel along from St. Paul West, connecting the benchlands of Lincoln right through into Niagara-on-the-Lake, and the core of that was St. Paul Street. And now you're completely upending that for a bridge replacement that's going to take 3 years. It seems like, well, what am I to believe now? Is the wine route really that important? Because you're severing it in half for 3 years.
And I realize you can't look at every little contingency. I understand that councillors, I mean, on the flip side of it, we can rant and rave and whatnot, but we're still not councillors that are sitting around there trying to make a decision as a group of dysfunctional people, because they can't really agree necessarily because they have their own constituents at heart, and oftentimes those ward situations, those constituents have different needs, different perspectives, different impacts on something like the railroad bridge or whatever. So all of these people are not going to agree, which is why they're there. They're not there to agree. They're there to come up with some sort of consensus that makes as much sense as it possibly can. So I understand that it's a challenging place for politicians and representatives to be in, no matter what level you're at.
Here are some of the comments as they're coming in live, Lee. And remember, anybody can join the program. That's a bit of the thrust of today. We put the Zoom link in there, so if you want to join it and share your opinions on screen. But here's what people are typing.
Yeah, and there's Marla says, I'm glad to see you bring this up. I think 3 years is ridiculous. Ashley, gonna miss catching some air on that bridge. I'm confused why it's taking 3 years, though. That seems insane. Well, it does to us as well. Mike says 3 years is a joke to complete that bridge. Is it really a bridge, though? It's more of a large speed bump. That's interesting. Sixes, okay. Daniel says, LMAO not reporting anything about the bridge is crazy. Want to take a moment out and mention our sponsors of this program that put up with us each and every week. We receive no direction, let me put it that way, by our sponsors. We are not dancing to anybody else's drummer but our own, and for that we thank our sponsors. Gale's Gas Bar is fueling Niagara since, well over 50 years now, and for the next 50 years to come. Don't forget to check out their rewards loyalty program. You can check your balance, you can sign in and register your cards and terms and conditions, and all the ask questions are right there on the gales.ca. It couldn't get much easier than that to log on. And heading into their busy season too, because they provide whatever petroleum needs are there over the course of a 12-month circuit, and that includes fuel oil and taking trucks out in the middle of the snowstorms, and whatever Niagara needs, they've supplied it for a long time and continue to do so. So we really do appreciate Gales as our premier sponsor for Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, another Niagara born and bred company. We were talking about this last week, and I didn't realize, I knew it was a long time, but I didn't realize that Verge Insurance Group was founded in 1953 here in Niagara. And they continue to serve all of your insurance needs, whatever it is, an insurance broker that will find you the best deal for the best reason, be it home, auto, personal, whatever. Verge Insurance Brokers. At Ace Alignment, for whatever ails your vehicle, They specialize in wheel alignments and brakes and suspension. They're also an MTO, motor vehicle inspection station, all of your front end needs and whatever your vehicle requires. I actually stopped by there the other day. I was driving by there on North Street in St. Catharines, the street that runs right behind the brand new Niagara Regional Police Station in St. Catharines at Welland and Geneva. They're right behind there on North Street if you're looking for them. Introduced myself to Matt, said hi, had a look around the place, and just a great group of people at Ace Alignment. Stop in and say hi. And I want to mention we have a brand new sponsor going to be joining the program next week. It's Niagara Bathtub Refinishing. And we really want to thank, is it Jen that we've been dealing with?
Yeah, Jen and Devin.
Yeah. Niagara Bathtub Refinishing. We thank you for showing your support for the program, and they'll be here front and center as an additional sponsor as of next week, but we wanted to give them a tip of the bow chapeau hat as well.
Yeah, nice family-run business right here in Niagara. I mean, their business name there is very self-explanatory.
I was going to say, Kevin and I were talking about, and we talk about this often, because we deal with a lot of businesses, and we have over the years a lot of retailers, wholesalers, whatever, manufacturers, and quite often we find that just because you hear the name of a business, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what they do. And that sometimes is an issue. But you know, this one, we were saying, this is perfect. What a perfect name for a company. Because what do you do? We refinish bathtubs. Okay, what's the name of your company? Niagara Bathtub Refinishing. Wow, that's pretty cool. Because your name is what you do. Well, isn't that interesting? Yeah, WeeStreem, for example.
Absolutely, that was the impetus for our name, was to make it self-explanatory. What do you guys do? We stream, and we live stream things. We're very happy to live stream the Niagara Falls and Port Colborne Remembrance Day ceremonies. We'll get to some of those clips.
We see this, Lee, Sterry.
Lee, right now, and I don't know how many people it's going to affect that are watching right now. It's more motorists on the road.
Yeah.
But this doesn't happen all too often, and Nick just posted this.
Rainbow Bridge shut down in both directions after an incident involving a what? Vehicle coming from Canada to the United States. Images from the scene show smoke and damage to the inspection screening area that drivers pass through as they travel into the U.S. Some witnesses report seeing fire smoke coming from a vehicle. Others say a vehicle exploded. Canada Border Services Association and Homeland Security are investigating. Well, I would think so. Right, so some sort of vehicle explodes or is on fire.
Let's take a look around here.
That is on its way from Canada into the United States across the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls. FBNY is working on confirming a report of possible car explosion on the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara. Explosion! Wow!
Here we go. I'm just searching now for Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
Here we go, Niagara Action, temporary shutdown.
Rainbow Bridge, temporarily shut down. Yeah, this is happening right now, gang. This is like as we speak, these are posts that are going up. Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls being evacuated and is closed until further notice due to a vehicle explosion on the bridge in the area of the U.S. border checkpoint. Please avoid the area. 11 minutes ago.
Here we go, Lee.
16 minutes ago.
Now, I don't know if any of this is true, right?
No, of course. I mean, we're not verifying that all this is true. Wow, look at that. Pieces all over the place.
Holy moly. I mean, that looks like it, right?
Yeah. Holy cow. Sorry, I'm not talking because we're just looking the way you are.
So you can see some from somebody.
Because we also put up podcasts of this program so that the people that are not able to actually see the pictures can listen in their vehicles or whatever. So we do.
I mean, here's what you see, right? A
podcasts.
bombing at the Rainbow Bridge.
Apparently, there's been a bombing.
So this is, I mean, who knows? I don't know if it is or it isn't.
So yeah, so all kinds of questions for which we have no answers. Was it the car that exploded? Was it a bomb that exploded and the car was just in the way? And that seems unlikely. But I mean, there's a Kevin Galway put up this video, short video. Wow. That's
car bomb explosion. I mean, there's a couple people using the word bomb, but
yeah. Okay. Well, what we
bomb
know is
just went off on the Rainbow Bridge. Car explodes.
Breaking car explodes. Now that seems to be the general consensus. Whether it's a bomb or not, that's.
I mean, here's this guy here, Chorkor millionaire. I mean, who knows if this guy's legit?
My own van. What does he say?
Oh, he says
my own van, which was parked just within 3 minutes car distance from the scene, is currently attracting thick smoke. We're safe and have been escorted to a safe passage. Okay.
All right, and of course,
3 minutes is long.
We all know people that work at the border. We all know people that work at that bridge.
Yeah,
so our thoughts are with them. We don't really know what's going on right now. Car explosion. Some people say bomb. I don't know why. I mean, Niagara 411 had another vehicle on fire. I have no idea how these vehicles suddenly implode, explode.
We have, over the course of the time that we've been doing this program, I can't count. Well, I probably could, but I would get tired doing it. The number of posts that there have been about vehicle fires. Now, is it just the fact that we are having them reported more? And that's always the thing when it comes to social media. Is it because it's happening more often, or is it because we're just hearing about it more often? I suppose a little bit of both could be the case.
And here, these seem to be.
But this is going to be an investigation for sure. That bridge is going to be closed for a while, which is going to cause no end of headaches for truckers and commuters alike.
People are putting on the comments here. What the hell happened? I don't know yet.
So, note to self: make sure you take Queenston-Lewiston Bridge or the Peace Bridge, or if you're lucky enough to have Nexus, the Whirlpool Bridge, the lower bridge as we used to call it when we were kids. But the Rainbow, it looks like it's going to be, it says temporarily shut down. I think it's going to be shut down for a little while. When you get something like this going on, and all the investigators are going to be brought into play.
I hope, Lee, that it's just a coincidence. That it's just that moment in time that car exploded or caught fire or whatever it was.
But who was in the car? Where are the people? How are they? What's going on?
I don't know enough about the bridge to tell you what area this is in. It said right near the U.S. checkpoint.
So it was closer. It was closer to the United States, than it was to Canada. But it was a car traveling from the Canadian side to the U.S. side.
I mean, there you are from Canada looking towards the U.S.
Yeah. So it's very close to where the booths, where the inspection station would be. I would think that's what it looks like. Because if they're talking about close to the U.S. checkpoint, that's very close to where the U.S. customs officers would be working.
Absolutely. We'll do another search.
Hopefully they're okay.
Just see what comes up.
Yeah, because see, that's way across where that arrow is pointing.
Yeah, surprised there's nothing more recent here that's coming up from people on the scene.
Yeah.
And again, this guy says explosion.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to confirm that it's a car bomb, but there was some sort of explosion. There was some sort of incident that went off. Car explodes on Parkway. Car bomb. Deshaun, we don't.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know that.
Bridge closed.
That was from the New York, Niagara Falls, New York Mayor's office.
Yeah.
The Rainbow Bridge currently closed until further notice. And as I mentioned before, it's going to be a while.
They were just getting into other posts, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. When was the last time? This is a sort of a question of the whole. This is a letter at large, if you will. When was the last time that you tried to purchase something or plan an event that you thought was easy peasy and turned into like a tooth pulling initiative? Kevin Jack experience, I'm probably surprising him by bringing this up, but it's just something, it's something that almost all of us have experienced. You got something coming up, you have an event, you got a thing, you just had an idea, you and your wife are going to do something, you're going to do something with the kids, or your neighbors, or whatever. And you say, hey, I heard this is going on, and we can do that, why don't we do that? So, hey, that sounds like a great idea. And so somebody jumps into the fray to make this kind of cool idea happen. And it turns into shite because it's not as simple as it was made out to be. Kevin, you got to tell. Well, you have to now that I've said, I put you on the spot now.
Yeah, I mean, I really...
You have to tell me the story now.
I didn't want to out them, but okay, I guess I will.
You have to, because I brought it up, so it's my fault.
We're members of CAA, and on Friday...
As are we.
Yeah, and love them. Love
Great
CAA.
Organization.
CAA Niagara does some incredible work.
I've been a member of CAA all my life, all around the country.
I told my wife once, honey, if I ever come to you and say, I think it's a good idea to cancel our CAA membership, tell me what an idiot I am, and no. I've told her that. Don't ever let me cancel my CAA.
One emergency call to CAA pays for the membership.
Last week, or 2 weeks ago, when we were doing the show, my battery wouldn't start. No problem. Called CAA. Within 10 minutes, the guy was here, gave me a boost, got my battery replaced, off on my way. I wasn't stressed at all. That's the comfort of CAA.
And it is a great organization, make no mistake, but every now and then bureaucracy gets in the way.
So on Friday,
here we go.
We are going, my daughter Ayla, our daughter, just turned 10 on Monday. Happy birthday, Ayla. And Friday is a PA day, so we're bringing a bunch of kids from our class down to Landmark Cinemas at the Penn Center, and we are going to go see Wish, the brand new 100th anniversary Disney animated flick. You know, they're hoping that it's going to be the next Frozen. So we're going on Friday. The tickets went on sale yesterday afternoon. So I go into CAA. My wife and I had been in probably 2 other times because they have a great deal. If you're a CAA member and you're going to Landmark, they have adult passes and they have kids. And kids, you get almost for the price of your regular admission. You get regular admission plus a small popcorn and a pop.
Now, Landmark, are the cinemas, the operator of the cinemas at the Penn. Go ahead.
Right, and CAA Niagara now, well, they still have their office up there by Brock. Most of the stuff that you're going in and out of the building for is now moved to the Penn Center, right there, right next to Landmark.
And it used to be on Lake Street here in St. Catharines.
So I go in there yesterday to buy tickets for my daughter's birthday party and say, okay, I will take 11 of your children admissions. Sorry, sir, we only have 9.
We only have 9?
We only have 9.
Okay.
Said, okay. Well, Landmark's right there. Why don't you just walk over there and get some more? Well, let me talk to somebody. So she goes and talks to somebody, and I'm basically given the wrong answer again. Sorry, sir, we only have 9, and we'll order more after this, and they should come in on Thursday. I go, well, that doesn't help me, because I need to book my tickets tonight, and nowhere does it say, or nowhere did anybody inform me that there's a limited quantity. So I was just sitting there looking at somebody, and I told them twice, it sounds to me, as a CAA paying member, that that is the wrong answer. For whatever reason. You could tell me that it's because of this, that, or the other thing. It's the wrong answer. So what you're telling me is you don't order any more until you get to 0? Like, why don't you have a float of 25 or 30? I'm not telling you how to do your job, but it would seem to me that you would want to have a float, maintain a float of around 25,
okay.
And when you get below that threshold, then I order another 25. And this is how we constantly run our business to make sure that if anybody walks in looking for 11 passes, we have them. So now, I warn you, Lee, for now, if you're going to CAA Niagara today at the Penn Center trying to buy a kid's admission ticket, they don't have any. You're SOL for today and maybe tomorrow until they come in, because this is how they run their business.
Did you buy the 9?
I did.
Okay. Are you going to go back to buy the 2?
I am not, because I had to order my tickets last night.
Okay, so you...
So I just had to pay for some. I just had to pay regular admission.
Oh. So 2 kids are getting in as adults.
No, they're getting it as a regular kid admission, and then I'll have to buy them their popcorn and pop, which is just added to my cost.
Okay.
Even though I'm a paying CAA member, we just don't have any. And Landmark Cinemas is right there. Just go get some more. Sorry, we have to do that through head office. That'll take 2 days. Okay, so you didn't have the foresight when you fell below 10 or 15 or 20, whatever your threshold is, that now's the time to order more? You know, Lee, at the end of, have you ever seen when you get receipt paper and all of a sudden there's a little blue line on the ledger?
Oh, yeah.
That's telling you you're running out of paper, and it's time to order more.
Sometimes they're red line. Yeah, sometimes they're pink.
You're running out of paper. Before you actually run out, you should order more.
Or reload the machine.
Anyway, I didn't really want to because CAA does some great things, but that was my experience.
I know, but the moral of this story is for managers and bureaucrats that run the companies, and this isn't down to the frontline people, because the frontline person that you were talking to had no power to do anything else but what they told you that they could do, because that's how it works. That's how their job is defined. That's what their role is. But for managers and company owners and bureaucrats and corporations everywhere, here is the message. The message is empower your frontline people to make decisions. It's very simple. It's very difficult for some companies to do this because they want control of everything that their employees do. But the message, as I said, is empower your frontline employees to make decisions, even if it is something that is contrary to your current policy. If there is a customer involved and you're on the front line, be empowered to make a decision. And there are so few companies that follow that mantra, Kevin, and there should be more, because we would have fewer complaints, we would have fewer angry customers, we would have fewer stressed employees, we would have such a lower level of anxiety in the workplace if the people that are on site are empowered to make a decision and not be chastised for it after the fact. That's the message. So, just an example. Again, not flogging CAA, because it is a great organization. And like I said, my wife and I and our family have been members for years, and the services are great. And it's a good value, but this is just one of those situations where somebody on the front line could have made a customer's life easier.
Hey, here's what you do. When you get below 25, order 25 more.
Sure, why not?
It's not that hard.
It's easy.
And they could have told me that. Said, oh, sorry, sir. If they told me, you know what, somebody right before you came in and ordered 15. And normally we would have more than that. But that wasn't the answer. The answer was, that's the way it is, shrugging their shoulders.
Yeah.
Well, do better.
That's how it works.
So, Lee, just checking back to see what the situation is.
Yes, we're back to the Rainbow Bridge here.
At the Rainbow Bridge. I'm interested to see what the likes of like CNN are handling it. Because in America, right, this could absolutely...
this could be a big deal.
This is an international land crossing, and now you've had a car explode. Some people are saying there was a bomb.
Well, because you know what happens in the United States. You start thinking about bombs, you start thinking about explosions, and obviously the big T word comes up.
Absolutely, but this happens all the time,
Terrorism.
Lee, and here's one from this week that caught my attention. I mean, 12:39 in the afternoon.
Yeah, 30 block on Thorndale Avenue in St. Catharines. That's a pretty hefty fire there. It's a vehicle, right?
Yeah, so I mean, vehicles catch on fire, and if you look in the comments, I mean, people have some...
Kevin...
Cool. I mean, there you go.
Will you please remind me, when we're talking about this show off the air and we're planning subsequent shows, that I would like to have somebody from one of our police or fire departments on here, be it one of our chiefs, it doesn't matter from what municipality, to talk about car fires. Because I don't understand how cars, or as many cars or vehicles as we've had over the past year. Let's narrow it down to the past year even. I don't know how cars catch on fire. I don't know how. I mean, the obvious thing is you're filling your car with gas and you're smoking a cigarette, like stupid stuff. But I mean, these so-called car fires, how do they start? I don't understand it. Not as many as we've had. I really would like to know. I would like to have specifics. Well, we had a car back in May that because of X, or electrical, or a gas leak, or I don't know, a vacuum I don't know. But I would sure like to know, and how many of them are arson? How many of the car fires that we deal with or hear about in Niagara over the course of any given year are actually arson? Who's burning them up for the insurance money or whatever the hell it is? I don't know. I would like to find out. So far, it's unexplained. I don't get it. And the thing on the bridge today, that takes it to a whole new level. That's a whole new ball game. That is. Okay, Kevin. On a lighter note, because there's a lot of stuff going on that we can talk about. By the way, I want to reinforce the fact that we have no scheduled guests today. We run until 1:30, and at 1:30 we're going to be hearing from a local Niagara musical act called Thunderclap. And Adam Buller is the leader of that group, Thunderclap. And we're going to be hearing a song from them called The Littlest Monster. I know it's not, we're past Halloween, but still. That's coming up to play us off the stage today at about 1:30. And they have a new holiday song coming out, by the way. It's called Blank Slate, and they're going to be releasing that for the holiday season. So hang around, and you'll have a chance to hear Thunderclap at the end of the show.
Lee, before we just move on, where do you want to go next so I can actually cue that up?
Well, I was just going to give a shout out to Maddie LeBlanc because we just sort of a revisit.
So I'll catch up with Maddie in a second. Just want to go, we're stealing some stuff here from Channel 7. But they put together a little. So here's an official statement from Niagara Falls.
Okay, the Rainbow Bridge is closed until further notice. There has been an incident involving a vehicle coming into the United States. Federal authorities are currently investigating this situation. That's thank you to WKBW. That's the ABC affiliate.
So here's the language they're using: due to incident involving car coming into the United States.
Now they're using incident. That's a good word because we don't know whether it was an explosion. We've seen the words car bombs, etc., but you don't know what that's what it is. There has been an incident. Okay, on the Rainbow Bridge, closer to the United States side, the car coming from Canada into the United States. It had not entered the United States as far as we know. It was near what they refer to as the U.S. checkpoint, which would be where you would be going through the booths and talking with their customs officials, as I would assume. So many highs and lows this week, competing at the ICF World Sup. That's the stand-up paddleboard championships. That's what SUP stands for. Here in Pattaya, that's Thailand, by the way. All of these moments have taught me so much, and I'm extremely grateful for it all. I had a personal best and phenomenal finish in the grueling 15-kilometer race on Friday, which made me feel so strong. And then yesterday I made an easy mistake in my tech race, going on the wrong side of the final buoy that got me disqualified. Oh. But that's life. Enjoy the highs while they last and learn from the lows because they happen for a reason. I have so much to take back home with me, and I can't wait to keep training and working hard to be the best paddler and person I can be. I cannot even begin to say thank you enough to everyone near and far cheering for me this whole week. It truly means everything to me. Also, congratulations to every single competitor that has shown up this week. You are all champions and inspirations in my eyes. Maddie LeBlanc competing in the World Championships stand-up paddleboard championships in Thailand. What a wonderful young woman. She was, and if you want to see the interview with her, you can go on Niagara 411 Live, click on videos, and you'll see it in the list of videos that are there from our show a couple of weeks ago.
This is her wrapping up a 15-kilometer race, Lee. 15 kilometers, she came 14th.
Yeah, and what she told us last week is that there are 3 separate categories of professional stand-up paddleboarding. One is the long distance, which is that 15-kilometer run. One are sprints, and it's like running. You've got long distance running, and you've got like 100-yard dash kind of thing. And the other one is the tech part of it that she mentioned, that she just ended up on the wrong side of the buoy, and I imagine that's pretty easy to do. But anyway, so she competed in all 3 levels, all 3 of those competitions when she was in Thailand. There she goes.
Yeah, way to go, Maddie. We're all proud of you from Welland.
Way to go, Maddie, indeed.
Welland, born and raised.
Talk about the kind of physical shape you've got to be in to do something like that. Makes us all feel, the rest of us feel like underachievers, that's for sure. Kevin, there was another strange thing that showed up on Facebook. Well, there are a number of them on Niagara 411 that came through. By the way, thanks, Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi to Nick's mom. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Gale's Gas Bars, for fueling Niagara as they fuel this program as our keynote prime sponsor every single time we do this program. Also to Verge Insurance Group, Mark Shirk, Blake Shirk, and your gang. We appreciate your participation here. And our third Niagara-based and born and bred company, Ace Alignment. Always a pleasure to have all of you folks on our show. And next week we welcome Niagara Bathtub Refinishing. We really look forward to having them joining our stable of supporters here at Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, powered by WeeStream. Kevin, I feel sorry for you back there, man, trying to get rid of a cough and a runny nose and stuff and still produce this show. There's a lot of that going around now, I understand. There are a lot of bugs floating around in the air. So I hope you and your family and friends are reasonably healthy.
So I got up here the thief stealing the bike, but there's also the car into the house.
Yeah, let's do these things. Here's another lowbrow cretin that for some reason helps himself to a young man's bike at almost 10 to 7 in the morning in Welland. The entire thing captured on closed-circuit television. The bike was a gift from his deceased stepfather, and this jerkamo comes in and just waltzes off with the bicycle. Find this dude, find the bicycle, slap him on the wrist, give him a fine. I don't care what it is. Just, come on, man. Fess up. At least take the bicycle back. Say, hey, my bad, I was desperate for something, or I'm an idiot, or I'm stupid, or whatever. Get the bike back to the kid. Come on.
I mean, look at this. He just walks
You
up.
want a bicycle that bad, somebody will chip in and start a GoFundMe page. Somebody will buy you a bicycle. I can almost guarantee it. I'm homeless and broke. Yeah. Oh, just, Kevin, I swear to God, this drives me crazy. All you have to do is come in and out of Fairview Mall or any one of these malls on one of these, and you've got, I'm not dissing on homeless people, and I understand there's mental illness, and I get all the issues, and okay, I get it. But I don't want somebody standing at the exit to a mall or wherever the hell it is, holding a sign saying homeless and hungry and broke, any little bit will do, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth. Do you know how much cigarettes cost? Do you know how much cigarette? I used to be a smoker. I quit a long time ago, but I used to be a smoker. I know how much cigarettes cost, and they cost a lot of money. The way to get me to drop $1 in your pocket is not to stand there with a cigarette in your mouth, because I'm figuring if you can afford a cigarette, you don't need my dollar. Ugh, it irks the hell out of me. I like the guy that stands there with the dog. At least I know he's got to buy the dog some food. I give money for the dog. Here, spend it on your dog.
Now, Lee, this next theft, and we will get to the car into the house, but this next theft seems even more senseless. I mean, talk about likely to be able to afford this yourself.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's one, too. Yeah. This is the stealing of the milk can video. So, as you can see, there is a house camera. There's a CCTV camera, a pretty decent one. So this person comes up, and there's a little Christmas display on the porch. There's a little Christmas display on the porch. There's a milk can. I think it says welcome on the front of it, if I'm not mistaken. From one of the other pictures, I think it has welcome printed on the can. And there's decorations inside, et cetera, et cetera. This person walks up on the porch and takes the whole can. Where do these people come from? There you go. There it is. That's very nice. Nice fall display. You got the gourds there around the bottom and the nice flowers at the top. Welcome to our house. It might as well say take me on there instead of welcome. Welcome. Come pick me up and take me home.
Look at this lady, like under the cover of night. She's got a nice jacket on.
Yeah. And this was a sentimental item as well. This is like almost like a family heirloom or a hand-me-down item or something. It's not just something that came out of Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot or something. This has been around the family for a long time. And you actually walk up on the porch and take it. What are you going to do with it? You're going to give it to your folks for Christmas? Or are you going to put it on your own porch? Oh my God, Kevin. Where are we living? How does this happen? Who are these people? They walk among us. Like, gee.
God, that's nuts. I just got a note in here from Nick that he's just shared some exclusive photos from the Rainbow Bridge incident.
All right. I
want to see what we got here.
Oh gosh. Hey, this is a good forum. You know how good it feels when I kind of get a little bit off.
These are the same photos.
Yeah, those are the same photos
that we had been sharing from that other account.
If you want to feel like you want to get something off your chest, like I have been just doing, sorry for getting a little emotional, or but that's what this show's for here today. We've got a half hour to go, and you click on the link there. You see at the bottom of the broadcast that you're looking at right now, and you can come on and you can bring up the issue of your choice as well. It's very simple to do. All you need is a phone or a laptop or whatever with a working camera and a microphone, and you're in. And so you got a half an hour. Come on in and vent away, if you will. Yeah. Now here's the other one that we wanted to have a look at. And again, we don't want to make too much light of these things because this is something very, very serious. We are in the holiday season, and I know that the police forces throughout Ontario have begun their ride program. Just to remind you that the ride program season is here, and it's the drink, don't drive message, and it doesn't seem to deter a lot of people from doing just that, drinking and then driving, and obviously it did not deter the operator of this SUV that happened to have a collision, which is not unusual, but in this case it had a collision with the front entrance of a house. How this happened, Haste Street and Welland Road in Welland. And it looks like maybe, Kevin, judging by the way those roads cross, it looks like maybe the truck missed the turn.
Yeah, just kept going straight.
And just went straight and went through the front of a house where, as I recall, 6 people live. Luckily, those 6 people were uninjured when this vehicle went through their front door. The fellow that was driving the vehicle was attempting to get out of the house and flee on foot through the hole that his truck made in the front of the house, but police were there in time to corral this fellow.
It reads pretty funny.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's a serious accident.
Yeah, drinking and driving is not funny, but this is not something that, and it's not funny for the people that own the house either. So anyway, Welland Road near Hay Street, police showed up following reports that this 06 F-150 had struck the house. The Ford was occupied solely by the driver. Residents had 6 people in, like I said. EMS paramedics and Pelham Fire Services showed up on the scene, for sure. All parties were assessed by paramedics. None of the residents of the home hurt. Officers arrived on the scene, found the driver attempting to get out through the hole created by the Ford. In speaking with the driver, maybe there's a Ford commercial in here somewhere. I don't know. They believed he was impaired by alcohol, which again, not funny. Empty liquor bottles found inside the Ford. Driver arrested by the officers, subsequently taken to a hospital for treatment for minor injuries. Timothy John Kleimenhege, 48 years old, of Wainfleet, charged with, as you can imagine, litany of offenses. And here's the thing, too, for the unfortunate homeowners. Now, this is a nightmare. You don't think about waking up in the morning or having lunch or having your dinner or going to bed at night and a vehicle slamming into the front of your house. You can imagine what that must sound like, what that must feel like. I mean, it's got to feel like your whole structure is coming down.
Yeah, Lee, I threw a comment here looking for anybody that was in the home to get exactly that reaction. What's it like in the middle of the night?
What did that feel like?
I mean, the whole house has to shake.
So, but here's the other shoe that's dropped here, is the fact that they can't take the vehicle out of there until the structure is assessed for structural damage, because if you move the truck out of there, it could come down. Like, holy cow. That's a lot of damage. That family, I don't see how you could live in there after that. They've got to relocate somewhere for a while, I would think. So our feelings definitely go out to the family that lives or lived or whatever in that house. To the dude that did this, well, yeah, go away for a while, please. But still, that's crazy. Which also can come with a recommendation. Note to self: do not buy a house that is on the corner of any streets anywhere, because at any time somebody could miss the turn and drive right into your living room. Holy moly. Now, Kevin, have we got the deer story?
Oh, yeah, that deer story.
Have you ever?
I'm
asking this to the audience, to the crew, to our Niagara 411ers here. Have you ever had an altercation with a sizable animal while you are driving? This is also not a funny experience, and for some, it's absolutely tragic and horrifying. This one falls into the tragic and horrifying category. The one issue that I had to deal with was many, many years ago, and I was traveling from Chippewa, actually, on Sodom Road toward the Queen Elizabeth Highway. So, and there's a lot of open territory there. There's a lot of field through there. And the experience that I had, I was very, very lucky, as were the animals, thank goodness, because there were deer crossing the highway, just jumping the road in front of me. And knowing this, I still didn't think properly. I realized that often the deer travel in groups. They travel in pairs, or they travel in families. They very rarely are on their own. And in this case, it was a female deer, it was a doe, jumped across the ditch and came across in front of me. And I swerved a little bit in the car and slowed down, and she got away, and I was watching her, but what I missed was the buck right behind her. And I thought, I should have known that. And I just nicked his hindquarters and didn't hit him very hard. But I stopped because I thought I might have injured him, but he was gone by the time I got back. And it was dark, late night. And so I'm assuming that the deer got away okay. I still to this day hope he did. But these are the things that happen that you can't do anything about. So use extreme caution. And this note went up on Niagara 411, which leads us to talk about this next part of the story. Use extreme caution if you're traveling on the Brock Hill. Multiple deer reported in the live lanes, meaning in the driving lanes of the road. So, and Brock Hill is not exclusive. I mean, it's not alone in this. There are deer all over the place, especially in more rural-looking areas, and especially when it gets colder and they're looking for food and all this kind of things. They find themselves in different areas. But now, one of the posts, though, that went up was talking about a woman that is apparently well known in Niagara, who was in a terrible altercation while driving with a deer. And Kevin's scrolling through the various topics right now.
I'm trying to find it because
it
speaks to a very human story. I know there's a lot of people
it really is. And this, like I said, this is a
video that was shared.
Yeah. And I love watching the deer. I mean, I love those animals. I hold nothing against them, but sometimes they encroach on in our world at times because they're looking to survive, and we have to be careful.
In the comments, we come across this.
Yeah, so here's the story that came up. To all my Facebook friends, this is from Christine. I'm asking for your prayers for my very dear friend, Bet Newmanecker? I can't quite...
Yeah, Nunemacher.
Nunemacher? Yeah, that's how I would say it. Sorry, Bet, if we got your name wrong. Whose daughter was hit last night while driving home by a deer. Well, first of all, you weren't... She hit the deer. The deer aren't out there searching for you, but the car hit the deer anyway. But here's the horrible experience. Its head went through her front window. The deer was decapitated. Hollis is her name, a grade school principal, well known in the area apparently. She is in critical condition, serious facial and head injuries. Had 6-hour surgery all night long at Hamilton General, just the first surgery. Please keep her and her family in our prayers. Well, we most certainly will. So the concept of being aware of what's on the road and watching out for wildlife, especially this time of year, at night on these roads, it's so important that you really be careful.
And I mean, I don't know who this person is, Lee, other
than...
No,
we don't
an elementary school principal here in the region. And Nikki says, yeah, this is my son's principal.
My son's principal. She is so loved. He has ASD, and she advocated for him so hard. She changed his life. We are praying for her. What a horrible experience to go through, whether she was injured or not. And she was obviously severely injured.
So I'm assuming her name is Hollis.
Hollis?
That's my guess from this post. Okay. And boy, oh boy, you know there's an entire community that has been shaken by this accident. Yeah, it could have happened to anybody.
Yeah, it could happen to anybody. So it is no easy incident when having contact with an animal like that in a vehicle, because those animals are solid. They're very heavy, and when you're moving, just anybody that has any knowledge of physics will tell you that when you are moving, and especially if this animal is moving, it increases the strength of the impact between these two. I got to get that out of here. It increases the damage that is done from two moving objects that come together in opposing directions. It's just horrible. And first of all, to witness what happened to that animal is stressful enough, let alone the injuries that you would sustain. So my God, we hope she fully recovers with no terrible, long-lasting scars and infections.
Lee, in similar vein, and oh gosh, I just can't get the photos fast enough. Nick had reported in the last couple of weeks a story, I think on the QEW, where a tire flew free and ended up going through the windshield of another motorist. Well, I know that other motorist, and she was picking glass out of her hair and her face for hours. I mean, luckily they weren't more severely injured, but traumatized.
When did this happen?
Probably about 2 weeks ago. I mean, we did our last show 2 weeks ago today, and I think it might have been within 24 hours of that. And I saw pictures of Lori.
What are the chances? What are the odds of that? Now, we've had flat tires. Luckily, you haven't had one while you're moving. We have. We had a tire shred off a wheel on the Queen Elizabeth Highway near Feulled Stone Road a couple of years ago. And my wife was driving the car. She handled it perfectly, and nobody was hurt. Everything was okay. But those things can happen that have different results, that don't end as positively as what happened to us. And the deer thing is a case in point. Kevin's conversation with the tire is another one, because so often things will go through windshields of cars. And what are the odds of the person being at that point, at that time? Like, who? So here you go. Who figures this stuff out?
These are photos that my friend Lori shared. So that's obviously from inside the vehicle, and that's right where the tire went through, and she was a passenger.
But the trauma, Kevin, that you would have to experience when something like that happens. And I know there are a lot of people out there right now that are watching this program saying, "Oh, you have no idea it happened to me." It's like just.
There's Lori, a little cut up.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, thankfully that's all it was.
I was going to say, hard to say that was lucky, but it could have been a lot worse.
Now, Lee, there's another story here of theft and robbery in the region that has me just thinking we need to be better in Niagara.
Okay. Which one are we talking about now?
This is the one that obviously is coming from a Home Depot in Niagara Falls, and the comments just absolutely floored me.
Yeah, now here, this story, believe it or not, we're not actually trashing the thieves. In this go-round, Kevin and I are putting a spotlight on the people that are making comments and the horrible comments that they were. So here's the post. Do you recognize these individuals? Officers are seeking to identify them in relation to tool thefts in Niagara Falls. Now, this is obviously by the colors, etc. This looks like a Home Depot.
I mean, there's the logo right behind it.
Oh yeah, Home Depot. Okay, so it's Home Depot. So focus on these guys. There's Kevin showed you one there a second ago, and then there's this guy. All right, they're guys. Could be any person's neighbor, any person's coworker, any person's relative. They're just a couple of guys that decide that they have a plan to get away with stealing some tools from Home Depot. Okay, ordinarily that's not a story that we would necessarily talk about because it happens all the time. But what made us want to talk about this are the comments. And I almost feel slimy reading them. Get a job, lots out there to apply for. I think the first guy is Mr. Bean. Okay, those are pretty calm. Okay. Don't worry about catching them. They'll get off on any charges. True dope will lose votes if they try to convict them. There, once again, we're blaming the Prime Minister for people that robbed Home Depot. Bean. Right. They're imported. Okay, here's where the first bit of bias comes from. And then Kristen says to Randy, "What does that even mean?" Well, that's a good question, isn't it? Fine-looking newcomers. Now, here's where the racist stuff starts to get a little bit more serious. Brampton 411 should be tagged. Okay, now that is, I'm sure, in reference to the population nationality makeup of the city of Brampton. Green cards visitors. There's that one, eh? The Home Depot has an individual. Have you had a brain injury? Okay, haha. Needed to do some work on his Mercedes, all right. Oh, Canada. A lot of them come from the Brampton, a lot of them. That goes back to the whole, like, you people kind of concept, right? It's a daily event at Home Depot. This is part of the reason prices are so high. Okay, now that's a worthwhile comment.
Well, not her first comment, though.
Oh, yeah. Let's welcome every thief to Canada. Wow. Is that the criteria? One of their names, now, one of their names are probably Mohammed. So there's one tip. Like, really?
Guy at the top. Look like gypsies.
Oh, yeah, there's a guy. Yeah, looks like gypsies. You see that one?
Look at Karen.
Where? To St. Catharines, Hamilton, Neverland? How do you know they're not from...
Look what Karen said.
Oh, yeah. Send them back.
Where? To Burgoyne Woods? Like...
Yeah, send them back to where?
Like, send them back where? To their...
They look like they were born in Canada to me, but it doesn't matter. It's just like, wow.
Look like Canadians to me.
This is such racist, horrible... And I'm glad the comments, Nick, were not vetted, because this is important for us to see. It's important for us to see the low bellies of some of the people that are out there. This is Habib from overseas. Trudeau's boys. Oh yeah, well that makes a lot of sense. Let's blame our prime minister for two guys robbing Home Depot. And now because I said that, I'm going to be a raging liberal fan. No, I'm not. If you guys in these pictures see this, I need some tools. PM me. Now that's cute. But wow, but where does this... What do you mean? I ask these stupid rhetorical questions. I know where the racist comments come from. The great public at large.
Being racist.
Wow. Just outstanding racism. Way to go.
It's funny, when I see this guy right here and the way he styled his hair and his little swag that he's got going, right away it reminded me of, he kind of looks like, and of course it's not, but I'm like, oh, it looks like Lucas Body.
Yeah.
And imagine that. Lucas, congratulations. They just had a baby boy, I believe, maybe a baby girl. She's about 1 month old now. Lucas is on his way to becoming a world champion boxer. Yeah. He calls Niagara Falls home. He represents Canada. He couldn't be more Canadian and somebody that we're more proud of here in the Niagara region. He's as Canadian as it gets.
And this thief is probably as Canadian as it gets as well.
And yet all the comments...
There are good Canadians that are thieves too, you know. They walk among us.
Like, those comments really just...
It's very disturbing. It really
ruined my day.
It really is disturbing. You know, the last thing, Kevin, that... And I realize that all nationalities have their idiosyncrasies. We have our idiosyncrasies as white Anglo-Saxon older males. British people have their things. Indian people have their things. Like Aboriginal people have their things. African Americans or African Canadians have. Everybody has idiosyncrasies or whatever that you can trace back to genealogy or to heritage or whatever. That everybody has them. Every race has them. Every melting pot of cultures have them. But it doesn't. But that's not where you go when you see somebody stealing a hammer or a chainsaw, or whatever the hell it is, from Home Depot. That's where your head goes. Your head goes to racial differences and appearances when somebody steals a tool from Home Depot. That's where your head goes. Really? Wow. Crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, Lee, I got to set up the outside camera, but want to just leave you with this. I mean, no real updates coming out of the Rainbow Bridge, and it looks like those photos that we shared earlier are about the closest to the scene of the incident.
All right.
But I mean, I don't even know what that's showing there. Is that?
Well, that's obviously one of the booths. That looks like one of the booths. Did you say booths?
So did the vehicle slam?
I don't know what that is. I don't know. But it looks like the engine. I don't know.
I mean, there's the photo.
But that is very close to that checkpoint area.
Yeah,
I hope none of the officers that were serving there were injured.
These are the only photos that anybody's using, and it looks like Karen Audrey Antonucci is the one who first put them out. I'll see if there's anything in the comments.
Speaking of, while Kevin's doing that and we're having a look for anything on that, just to bring you back up to speed in case you happen to just join us, is a vehicle that was heading across the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls from Canada into the United States. Exploded, I guess, is the only, that's the word that seemed to be, that most people seem to be talking about, is exploded. But there was, officially it's being called an incident, which is, I think, probably the best way to put it, because they don't know whether it exploded or what the heck happened on that bridge. But it was centered around this one particular vehicle. There are those in the comments that have used the term car bomb. Well, we don't know that at all. But there was something very significant happened to that vehicle, because as you can see there, as I think we can see here, let's put it that way, it's what appears the pictures are showing us from Karen Audrey Antonucci, are pieces of this vehicle scattered about, which would indicate a rather violent incident of some sort. So one would assume until we're told different, that there was some sort of explosion on the bridge. Kevin, to go back to the Home Depot thing for a second, and it's not centered around Home Depot, one of the things I wanted to bring up was the fact that Home Depot deals with some very, very expensive, high-end, high-priced products. And they've started to, with the Home Depots, like they have done with the supermarkets and Walmart and a bunch of almost all other major retailers, they have instituted this self-checkout thing. And I'm not so sure that self-checkout is the way to go with places that deal with things like Home Depot does, high-priced things. That, I mean, this is expensive stuff. So you can imagine how many people would think that they could very easily walk out, self-checkout, and scoot and get away with maybe checking out one thing and taking two. You know, you pay for one and you got something else in the bag. I mean, there's all kinds of people that can use their smarts for evil as well as good. And I'm just not so sure this whole self-checkout thing is the way to go.
Yeah, I think we got to go to the next step. Don't they have things like in Japan? Haven't they had it for 10 years where it almost like you walk in the store and when you walk out, there's RF signals and it knows what you took with you?
Yeah.
This self-checkout, I mean, oh God, we could go on and on and on forever, Lee.
Yeah. Black Friday. There's another thing. Why do Canadians deal with Black Friday? The whole world has Black. You go on Amazon or one of those things? Everything is Black. There's Black Friday everywhere. First of all, I don't even know why we call it Black Friday. I saw a commercial
Do
last.
you not?
Hey? I forget why they call it.
So the reason why they call it Black Friday is it's a big shopping day after American Thanksgiving, and apparently it's the point in the year where retailers turn over
into the black. Oh yes, okay. It's a funny thing though. Well, it's not funny. It's interesting, peculiar. Funny, peculiar, not funny. Haha. As I was watching the NFL, of course, over the weekend, Monday Night Football and all the rest of it, and they have football games being broadcast on the U.S. Thanksgiving, which is coming up this week. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to all of our American neighbors, North American USA neighbors. But the song that they used in the background for this promo was Gordon Lightfoot, it's not Black Day in July, was the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black. Mick Jagger said that he was never going to do that song again because it was a really negative, dark, horrible lyric. But the NFL's using it to promote Black Friday football. I just found that kind of interesting. All right. Thank us again to Gales Gas Bars for being our premier sponsor on this Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, Season 4, Episode 25. Thank you all for participating by word and or deed. Also to Verge Insurance Group Limited, your support greatly appreciated. Janice Purdy and gang at Ace Alignment in St. Catharines, also wonderful to have your continued participation as a supporter of the program. We can't wait to say hi to Niagara Bathtub Refinishing as a new sponsor coming on board next week, to Kevin Neufeld and crew at Beau Chapeau Hat Shop in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Thanks for supporting the coverage of my dome, and was in your store over the past weekend. It's busy. Boy, it's a great place to visit over the holiday season. We might do a little something from there. We're talking about that, more on that maybe later. We might do something on that. So we thank you all. Kevin, Jack, as always, it's a pleasure to do this program with you every couple of weeks. WeeStream, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Canada's premier streaming company for any event that you think you would like others to see and that might not be able to get out to see you. Give WeeStream a call. All right. Kevin, we are about to hear from Thunderclap, I take it. The Littlest Monster is the tune of the video we're going to be showing. They got a new holiday song coming out in the next little while called Blank Slate. And the brain trust behind Thunderclap is Adam Buller. So Adam, thank you for working so hard on behalf of Niagara musicians and the music community here all around Niagara. The rest of you have fun dealing with a 3-year bridge closure. I guess we're ready to go, Kev? From Fiddler's Poorhouse, my name is Lee Sterry. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Cheers.
The door slams shut, we see the littlest monster of the clan. She's arisen from her slumbers and sees it's 3 a.m. And peeping out the window sees her family's off to lurk. After all, it is the best time of the night to do good work. Cut to the mirror down the hall, she drapes a cape of spiders on. She flings her scowl and spreads her wings, and on her arm a taxidermy, all is gently humming. Let's forget about us tonight. Let's forget about us tonight. Tomorrow's coming, let's start running. Let's forget about us tonight. Let's forget all about it. So when the littlest monster hits the town, she does her best to scare the townsfolk, young and old, and rich and poor, without a care. We all want to be someone else when we're tired of being ourselves, whether it be Godzilla, Popeye the Sailor, or Vlad the Impaler. Oh, hear the trees creak in the wind. Yes, quality work's been done tonight. The littlest monster's feeling proud. And upon inspection of the sky, she howls and moans aloud. Let's forget about us tonight. Let's forget about us tonight. Tomorrow's coming, let's start running. Let's forget about us. We never existed, yeah, we'll never let on that we ever existed. Yeah, right through the night, straight through to the dawn. Let's forget about us tonight. Let's forget about us tonight. Tomorrow's coming, let's start running. Let's forget about us. Let's forget about us. Let's forget about us. Let's It can all be such a scramble in the brambles of this life. If there's no such thing as reality, then how real are we? It's comforting to count on our little plans. It's simply precious. But our ritualistic habits, as we live and breathe our reckless. Day after day, it confines us to one recognizable face. An indelible mask to count on, to look out from and upon it. It's suspect to say the very least, but suitable for some unsavory vegetables and the recently